We're literally seeing an epidemic of these issues in the United States right now.
Dr. Robert Melillo is the co-founder of Brain Balance Centers.
1 out of every 10 children in the United States now is diagnosed with ADHD, and that's a real increase.
My name is Dr. Robert Melillo. My life's mission is to help kids and families with special needs. My wife, Carolyn, makes it all possible. Welcome to our family.
Hello, welcome to our show. I'm Dr. Robert Melillo, and this is my wife, Carolyn. Today we're talking about autism. So we're going to start off with what's making headlines. So one of the things that was out there, starting off with good news, is that there was an article recently that many companies, especially tech companies, are starting to hire people specifically with autism because they have such a high skill in math and science and attention to detail.
Which is fantastic because all parents wonder, will my child go out in the work field? Will they be self-sufficient? And this is fantastic news because there are so many tech companies hiring right now, a lot of Wall Street statistical firms that love these brilliant math minds. So that's great news.
It is. It's great news. And you know, there's a lot of controversy, let's say, in this community right now with people like that who are very high functioning, who really say, you know, I'm good. I don't want to be fixed. There's nothing wrong with me. Just accept me for who I am.
Well, I think that they also think that there's nothing that can be done. And we all know that when you have such high left brain skills, there's an imbalance. You don't lose your high left brain skills. You just bring up your social, all the other sides, the right side of the brain, and people probably think there's nothing that can be done.
That's very important. So that if they have that option out there and they realize it's an option, that's a good thing. So if they want to improve those weaknesses, like we all do, they have that option. The other thing that's in the news, which is interesting, was that another study came out showing that a woman on antidepressants has an increased risk of having a child with autism. The study showed that there was about a 400% increased risk of a woman having a child with autism if she's taking antidepressants during pregnancy or before pregnancy.
But how would somebody know if the depression causes the autism or the antidepressants cause the autism? I mean, they're both contributing factors, aren't they?
Yeah, you're exactly right. There's been other studies that showed that depression alone actually do it. And we know what depression is an imbalance in the brain, basically. Right. Usually the left brain is low, but sometimes it can be the right brain as well. But that's a good thing. So what we really need to do is look at the other things that are treating it without drugs, right? So
like
things
chiropractic
or functional neurology, which is what we do, or kind of the science behind what we do at Brain Balance. Do things that are going to balance out the brain without the use of drugs that can really be helpful.
Okay, we're going to go to Twitter now. It's time to hear from It's an ADHD Life. Who suggests removing sensory input, dim lights, earplugs, nice smells, soft music and soft talking, weight therapy, all help a child. What do you think about that?
Well, there are two ways to approach it. One is you can compensate for disability by giving things like, taking away things that might stimulate them. But in fact, when we look at ADHD, it's really a lack of stimulation in the right side of the brain. So what we see is there's this imbalance. So they may be hypersensitive to certain sounds, but they're undersensitive to others. So the key is not to avoid sensory stimulation, but to give sensory stimulation in the right way. And that's really the key. So if we take away, that's not great. So stay tuned, because when we come back, Jacqueline Laurita, who is one of the Real Housewives of New Jersey, joins us after the break to share the inspirational story of her son Nicholas, who has autism. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm Dr. Rob Melillo. Some of you may recognize my first guest from the popular reality show on Bravo, Real Housewives of New Jersey. Last season, Jacqueline, one of the original cast members, shared with viewers and the world that her son Nicholas was diagnosed with autism. Today, Jacqueline joins me to tell us about her story, struggle of hope, and inspiration. Welcome.
Thank you.
We're just going to show a quick clip from the show,
okay.
And then we'll come right back.
And I know this thing with Nick is really, really tough on him. I don't think the stakes get much higher than that.
What's up, buddy?
I got a surprise for Mommy.
Nicholas.
Ready? You want lollipop? Okay, hold on, wait. Mommy, you hold it. Say, Mommy.
Mommy.
Say, I love you.
I love you.
Good boy, Nicholas.
Oh, Nicholas, were you teaching?
That's very sweet.
So sweet. He's so cute.
So, you know, I'm really excited because I know that you've become a very big advocate for the autism community, and that's really what our show is all about. It's about raising awareness. But when did you first become aware of the diagnosis of Nicholas?
Well, during filming of 4th season, I guess, more so, he was regressing in his developmental milestones. And I just know everything that he had been doing, he had stopped. He wouldn't follow my finger as I pointed to an object. He wouldn't answer to his name. He couldn't follow a simple command. He stopped talking. He started babbling. He wasn't singing. He wouldn't eat with his utensils anymore. Going upside down, spinning.
Right.
His eyes would kind of roll off to the side sometimes.
Okay. So he would spin
lot of-
himself. Yeah, so one of the things that we had talked is that, did anybody along the way kind of explain to you, you know, what is actually happening in the brain of a child with autism and what produces those types of behaviors?
More from a biological standpoint, I
Right,
guess,
right.
not really
From like a
from
nutritional biochemical
Right,
stuff? Because you have done that and you
Yes.
found that that's effective.
I
right?
had-
What exactly did you do with Nicholas? Did you take him off gluten and casein?
Yes, we put him on a gluten casein, and when we did the food and allergy testing, we realized he also had an intolerance to soy and chickpea flour, garbanzo beans. So we removed all that from his diet, and you know, some additives and things like that, and definitely saw a big difference in his ability to, you know, engage in others, make eye contact, focus, concentration. So I felt like he could then perform better, you know, to his best ability with his therapies.
And the other thing that you said that was interesting is when he went off the diet at certain points, like you did
Yeah.
in the weekend. Like initially you said you really didn't know how to do the diet,
Yes, I did the
right?
diet wrong in the beginning.
And
I
that's
thought I
very
was
common.
doing it right.
That's really
Yeah.
common. It's important that people don't know that, you know, and you can't do the diet part way, right? It has to
No,
be
it's like
complete.
100%
Or
or nothing, because you know, just that little crumb can set them back months. You know, I didn't realize that, and so,
Right.
you know, there were hidden ingredients in certain, you know, things that I was putting on his food, or, you know, just giving him a little piece. Oh, that a little bit's not going to hurt him. You know, I did it wrong in
Right.
the beginning. I wasn't, and then, you know, so I can understand how some people would say, oh, well, I tried the diet, it didn't work. You have to re-look at that and say, was I really doing the diet 100%?
Exactly. It's hard. It's hard to
is
assess
really
it.
hard. Do you
But
have
once
any-
you get it, then it's easy because you know what he likes. It's like a whole trial and error of trying to find all the things that the picky eater is going to eat.
So is that a tip for other mothers, that you could just
Yeah.
try everything and eliminate something the
Yes.
minute you see him start to react?
Right. Yeah, we kept a food poop behavioral journal.
Interesting.
So it was like, this is what he ate, this is how he behaved, and this is what it looked like or how
Wait,
often he did
That's
it.
fantastic, though. That's a
Absolutely,
really
right, yeah.
So
great
it really
idea.
helps to kind of see the triggers. Like you see,
Right.
like when there's a tantrum later on or he's not sleeping at night, what did he have? So.
And the thing is, I think the important thing, like I said, from our perspective, from my perspective, is understanding why they have these types of biochemical issues, and that may not be the primary, but that it's the way the brain regulates their digestive system and their
Yeah.
brain, and you know, so you know, that's kind of our approach is, you know, understanding that there are imbalances in the brain, and you never heard that.
No, I mean, you know, obviously it's like a neurological disorder, but I guess I never really was taught how
You can
How
change
it's-
that, or if that can be
right.
changed, right?
And
yeah.
did you find certain therapies actually help Nicholas? I know that you said music. He
Yeah,
loves
music therapy was great for him. ABA for compliance, I think being able to follow one-step commands worked with him. But
Right.
music, he really connects with music, so that seemed to pull a lot out of him.
Does he
we did
sing?
HBOT. He is starting to sing again. It's really cute. So I know they say that the singing, it works a different part of the brain than
different part of the
speech.
brain, right,
So
right,
some
yeah,
people learn
yeah.
to sing before they can really
Right,
talk.
or vice versa.
Right.
Yes, and that's true. And then we had a little boy on here as well that could sing incredibly well, but he couldn't speak a word.
Isn't that amazing?
So it is,
That's-
but that's because there are different areas of the brain. They do different things, and that's this unevenness. Like you see this unevenness of skills.
How
and
do we
it
balance it?
represents-
How do we balance it?
Well, that's what we're all about, and we gave you the book Disconnected
Yeah.
Kids, so you can go through that, and then we'll follow up with you
Yeah, I
about
already
that. Now,
started that.
do you have a website or anything that people can go to?
I have JacquelineLaurita.com right now. I'm putting, right now I have it taken down, I'll be up soon, but I'm putting more of my like resources and things like that that I've tried, that I've used to share with people. But it's JacquelineLaurita.com.
Well,
it's really
thank you
wonderful.
so
It's so
much.
noble of you to share all your information with everyone. It really is in your life. It's,
Yes. Jacqueline Laurita, thank you so much for joining us. When we come back, she is the author of the Savvy Gluten-Free Shopper. Jennifer Fugo is here to talk about signs that may be associated with gluten sensitivity. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Dr. Rob Show. Did you know that according to the National Foundation for Celiac Awareness, that an estimated 1 in 133 Americans has celiac disease, and that a 100% gluten-free diet is the only existing treatment for celiac today? Here with me now is someone who's helping those and others live a gluten-free life, is the author of the Savvy Gluten-Free Shopper, Jennifer Fugo. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So why don't we tell people, first of all, why did you write the book? Do you have a personal interest in that? Did you struggle with gluten issues or celiac disease?
Well, I'm gluten sensitive, and after a year of being gluten-free, mind you, I ate a lot of processed products thinking that they were healthy. I ended up with adrenal fatigue and candida. So I had to figure out how to change my diet in order to support my body healing. Simultaneously, my husband was laid off from his job, so we lost 2/3 of our income.
Wow.
And I had to figure out how to do that without the amount of money I was normally used to going to the store and maybe buying all organic or whatever it was that I wanted to get. I now didn't have that luxury. So I have found through my work that the biggest complaint people have is the cost.
Is the cost,
Sure.
yeah, absolutely.
Sure. So how did you get over that issue?
Well, I number one realized that food waste in the household is one of the biggest I mean, you're literally throwing money into the trash.
That's true.
Every time you throw away food that sat in the fridge too long or you weren't certain exactly how long it could stay. And then also, the grocery store is really working us. They want us to go and spend more money at the grocery store than we intended to. And when you learn how to work the grocery store and find where to save money, even if it's a few dollars or a few cents here and there, eventually it can add up to quite a bit, because a gluten-free diet, it was found, is on average about 242% more expensive than a normal diet.
That's a lot. So are you eating less? I mean, how exactly do you save money then?
That's a great question. So in order to save money, it's about learning which items are most important for you. So first of all, prioritizing on your list, is it wild caught fish, grass-fed beef? And I do buy these things, and it is actually fairly simple to buy them when you know how to buy, like produce, for example, at a lower price. Now, I know that some people are always concerned about organic food and the toxins that are in produce, like fruits and vegetables, and those are important, and I recommend that people go to the Dirty Dozen list to see where those high toxin foods are, those high pesticide foods. So, for example, I probably won't buy conventional strawberries because they're pretty high at the top of the list, but you can get conventional bananas or conventional avocados. Even sweet potatoes are okay. So you can save money there.
So anything with a thick skin, you don't have to necessarily go organic. You can buy the regular brand. I'm sorry, we have a Twitter right now. We're going to Twitter. Okay, dancing with ADHD. I destroyed my health with high fruit sugar and a corn, potato, rice, starch diet, working with a doctor to repair pancreatic and adrenal damage.
Well, this is kind of what you were just saying.
That's exactly what you're saying. Now you've repaired yourself.
And it took time. It wasn't something that happened overnight. You can't just snap your fingers and assume that after your body is depleted that it all of a sudden will become healthy again. It takes time. But by eating the right foods, lower glycemic fruits, like those strawberries I mentioned, even I will tell you, frozen vegetables, even though a lot of people cringe at not buying things that are fresh, frozen vegetables are, number one, a great deal. And number two, they are frozen at the peak of their
I've heard that.
their
I've
freshness.
always been a big fan of frozen vegetables. It's true, people frown upon them, but they are fresher sometimes than store-bought fresh vegetables.
So, do you only shop at places like Trader Joe's or Whole Foods, or do you go to regular stores, and do you talk about that in the book, how people can go into a regular supermarket and shop?
So I generally don't shop at Whole Foods. It's very expensive.
Yes,
It is, right.
And for people who are dealing with these food restrictions, it can become incredibly more expensive for
Right.
them. You know, a tiny bag out of Whole Foods could be $60 or $80.
Sure.
So I shop at local grocery stores like Giant or ShopRite, and I also go to local produce stores as well, because again, if you know which foods, which produce items that you can buy that are safe and could be conventional, obviously they don't have a lot of toxins in them, you can get a huge box of produce for maybe $10 or $20. And when you know how to properly prepare that food and save it, you can make a lot of different meals, store them in your freezer, and then you've got, I like to call it gluten-free fast food, because you can pull it out and pop it into the microwave or reheat it on the stove, and then add those frozen vegetables to make the meal go farther.
So there's no waste.
Right. So we don't have a lot of time left. So let people know where they can find out more information about you and your book.
So they can go to my website, glutenfreeschool.com. I also have a podcast, and they'll see on the front page they can go and buy the book, The Savvy Gluten-Free Shopper.
That's great. Well, don't go away, because when we come back, Carolyn and I head into the kitchen to show you some healthy foods for your little ones when we return. Welcome back to the Dr. Rob Show. As we just discussed in the last segment, a gluten-free diet is one way of leading a healthy lifestyle when it comes to nutrition. Carolyn and I have brought some examples today of foods and snacks that are not only good for your little one, but taste good too, or are they? So we have a couple of kids here that
We
are
have
going to be
Jacob and we have Evelyn. They are our taste testers, right? Now, you are already casein and gluten-free, so you have a little experience, but you don't. So let's start right now with a pizza quesadilla. You want to take a bite? This is a gluten-free tortilla.
And be honest.
And
Tell us.
it's casein-free cheese and a little tomato sauce. What do you think, guys?
You think
I really like it.
Oh,
Oh,
look at
I
that.
love, okay, all right.
Yeah, see, a lot of parents
Excellent.
won't do these diets because they
Oh, he's still
automatically
eating
assume
it.
that my kids are
Oh,
never
she's
going
still
to eat
eating
it. They're
Wait,
not
you have a
gonna
lot
like
of food
it.
to, oh,
And
what?
so these
Wait.
guys are our representatives.
And everybody also thinks that cheese can't possibly be delicious and melt and be so good. Look at them, they can't get up.
Or
Wait, guys, we have
cheese
so much more
substitute.
food. Or a cheese substitute, which is what it is. Here, now why doesn't everybody take a taste of this? This is a juice, and it's got a lot of different vegetables and fruits inside of it. And you try the first one.
Get you to wash that down,
What do you think
Jacob.
of that? Good.
All
Oh, she
right.
likes it. She likes it. And you know what? It's really important.
That's
That's
good?
good. That's good because
All
a lot
right,
of
good job.
the drinks that are out on the market are really just filled with sugar and filled with chemicals, and these are 100% juice. And let's try this one. Let's see how brave you are.
What is that one?
This is actually a green juice, but it is filled with so many good green things for your body and also fruit.
My mom makes this all the time.
I
Okay.
love this kid. I mean, what do you think? Is that delicious?
It's great.
It is. So don't be afraid to try these things with your children because they actually taste delicious. What about a cheese doodle, which is completely casein free? Would anybody like to try that? I love cheese doodles. They're like my favorite.
I think kids are going to love these things.
And gluten-free.
You think
these
that-
are also
right.
gluten-free because
Yes, and
Jacob's
gluten-free.
on gluten-free.
Oh, no, all of these things are gluten and casein free.
All right, so this is a big thing because one of the biggest things I hear from parents is that their kids won't give up chicken nuggets.
That's right. And chicken nuggets from fast food restaurants, I don't even want to tell you what they're made of. And this is
Nobody knows.
organic chicken with gluten-free breadcrumbs on it.
You guys like chicken nuggets?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm sorry they're not warmed up a little bit more.
We don't have any dipping sauces.
well,
but-
you
I
don't need
get
to.
them on Mondays at school.
Okay.
These are great. I love them.
You know what I liked about
Jacob,
it?
I'm
Carolyn
taking you
is
home.
cooking them with coconut
do you
oil,
think,
and it's
Evelyn?
so buttery tasting.
They're good, right?
It's delicious. You know, you don't think about that, and
They
it really is.
really
I swore
do.
butter was on them.
We all ate these at home and everybody loved them. Other alternatives to snacks are nuts. And my favorite combination, are you both don't have nut allergies, right?
No.
Are pistachios and cranberries. Do you guys want to try that combination, one of each?
I love pistachios and I love cranberries.
See, we starved these children for days so that they would like everything.
I think we did not pay Jacob for any of these testimonies. What do you think of that combination, Jacob?
Great. It's
What do you
sweet
think?
and salty and
Kind
crunchy.
of salty and crunchy and a little sweet at the same time? What do you think about that?
She doesn't seem to be quite as
I like
convinced.
it.
I like it.
There
Do
we
not
go.
speak for the
Now, one of the things
princess
I
here.
want to ask you kids is that, do you think that kids nowadays eat healthy?
Most kids don't, but some kids do. Very few, just a little, but a lot of the kids at my school will pack a dessert every day. I only get my dessert every once in a while. And
Well, now your mom's very smart because you really don't need dessert. You need to eat your lunch, right? And what about you? Do you think people eat healthy? Children eat healthy?
sometimes.
Sometimes.
She was saying how the kids in her school, they don't eat lunch and they run up to the ice cream truck and fill up on the ice cream thing in their cafeteria. So she was noting
You
that that's
are
not a
what
good
you
thing.
eat, and if you eat healthy things, you'll have a healthy life, and you'll help your brain, and you'll study better, and you'll have.
That's good, right?
You'll
Yeah.
just have a
I
better
really like that a
social
lot.
life because a lot of sugar makes kids very cranky and very irritable, and there are so many alternatives.
They're really
Okay,
good.
last one. Let's try some chocolate soy milk.
Oh, this one, here. There you go, buddy.
A lot of parents don't say their kids don't like soy milk, but I think the chocolate is quite delicious. And Jacob's giving the thumbs up.
All
great.
right.
I love it.
I love.
It's great.
Well, this just goes to show that you can feed your children in a very healthy way. You can cook healthy snacks. You can have your chicken nuggets. You can have nuts and cranberries after school. Would you sit and do your homework and nosh on these? Absolutely. I don't have a cookie here. I mean, I do have a cookie here. I have a animal cracker, but we really don't need animal crackers, do we?
No.
No. And you can also make these yourselves. You can help your mom cook these things and learn how to cook for yourselves because that's very important when you're older, right? Not to have processed foods or fast foods or anything like that.
Okay.
Learn how to cook.
All right, great. Well, guys, thank you very much. You represented children well. We have you
Certainly
back.
did.
And want to thank you for watching today. And we are going to be back again. And in the future, thank you very much. And remember, there's always hope. See you next time.